There are major signs that Manchester United is heading in the right direction. This is based on individual changes, based on things we are sneaking into the future. I'll tell you about those, but also based on the team performance. If our last performance is anything to go by. My name is Webb. Welcome to the United Sport. And in this video, guys, I told you it's high time we kept it positive because positivity will get us there. Guys, in anything you do, if you're not positive, you'll never get there. But listen, you want to give flowers where they are due. And I'm going to give flowers to Marcus Rashford because listen, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person who I keep telling people that for me, I know sport. Today you perform well, the next day you perform bad. The other day you performing bad, the other day you step up. I believe in giving credit where it's due. That's who I am. That's what I believe in. But also, I attack you if you're not performing. Listen, I was one of the people who was advocating for the sale of Marcus Rashford. You know why? Because never mind his potential, a point reached where we all felt that Marcus Rashford was, I think, the definition, the lowest point of a poor attitude at Manchester United. He was the example we kept referring to when we spoke about players who did not want to play for the badge, when we spoke about indiscipline with his Belfast bender, when we spoke about players who were lazy, when he was not tracking back, him and Antony Martial, who eventually left, but Rashford at his lowest, when we are talking about players who are earning so much and they cannot play football no more, who did not love the badge, who are not confident in themselves, who are not enjoying their football. When we spoke about player power in the dressing room and divisions in the dressing room, Rashford was taking all that flack. Listen, right now there seems to be a subtle progression in terms of his attitude, his mentality, and clearly his performance. He's improving creativity. And for me, I should be giving him that credit. I'm man enough, honestly, and some of you are not man enough, man. I'm man enough to say, back then it was what it was, but it is nothing personal. You're performing now. Take your flowers. Listen, I am here telling you that Marcus Rashford has improved. We want to see that. That's all we need. No one doesn't like, no one hates Marcus Rashford. Who would hate a player who banged in 30 goals in one of our lowest seasons as Man United, seasons as a club? I would certainly be mad to hate on them. It was just this player showing that he did not have the heart for the club no more. And I mean, for me, it's about the club really. They come and go, but we stick we stay supporting. So I had to call him out. So I will not even I'm not even regretful, and I can know people like Happy who will come out there and now say, well, I told you, and I give it to you. Happy, you backed Marcus Rashford for long. I think you are one of the few people I know who backed him. But I know there are people who will say that, well, we told you. No, it's not about what you told me. Back then, Rashford was not performing, and he did not deserve to put on that badge. Right now, he's not there yet, but he's improving. But that improvement is not by mistake. It did not drop from heaven like manna, the biblical manna from above. No, they have worked towards it. The changes that INEOS have made have yielded the progress we are seeing in arguably one of our most important players. So for me, there is never doubt about the potential of Marcus Rashford. He has shown it, but he had really fallen way too low that it looked ugly on him given the money he was earning and the expectation. You talk to all young Gen Z kids about their inspiration at Man United, they will all refer to one person, Marcus Rashford, Marcus Rashford. But his attitude was a pain. But now it's looking better. Credit to Ineos. The marginal gains, the little things that have changed around the team are yielding these results. I was listening to an interview from a former rival Man United who just got a chance to play a little bit for Niche, a club owned by Ineos. This is Aaron Ramsey, and he met these guys and they sold the project. The Ineos team sold the project of Niche to him. And never get it twisted, Niche has not worked because Niche is not Man United. It's a small club that needs time to get to where it's supposed to be, to get to the level where they want to take them. It takes time. It's a process. It doesn't have rich history, as Man United does. So don't judge Ineos based on their performance so far with Niche. But the reality is, Aaron Ramsey said, INEOS will change things and they will achieve great things. It's just a matter of time. They need time because things in football, especially in the hottest and toughest league in the world, things will certainly need time. More so now, because there are people. I was talking to people who are telling me that you see, Roman Abramovich, when he took over Chelsea, it was instant success. What do you mean? I'm like, guys, are you okay? Stop living in the past. Football has changed, fam. Back then, Chelsea had only Man United and maybe a little bit of Arsenal to compete with. All the other teams were sleeping. They were sleeping. The rest of the teams in the Premier League were not competing. The rules were different. You could come with your oil money and buy every player there is. And this guy had all the money to buy, and he bought his success. Today, there is financial fair play. You're playing against you. There is no talent. Back then, there was lots of talent. Talent is not there today. Today, football is different. So it doesn't I mean that because INEOS have money and they have come in, they have got, this is now calculated progress because you've got to fit into a lot of things for things to work. It's a whole different time. We are in different. I'll tell you, if Roman Abramovich came back to Chelsea now, they wouldn't perform. They would struggle because the things have changed. Times have changed, fam. So let's not rely on that. That because we have INEOS, they are rich, they have money. People are expecting them to spend every penny they have on signings and players. No, fam. You've got to work within the financial fair play limits to do business. Even if you're filthy rich, you've got to be able to have books of accounts that allow you to sign the big players you want to sign. That's why clubs no longer lavish money on big players. It's no longer feasible because of financial fair play, which was meant at bringing fairness in the game so that even the have-nots have a chance to compete with the haves of the game. You know what I mean? So let's be guided on that. But moving on, uh, uh, I was reading an article from the Athletic, and they were of course giving they are quite close to the club, and indeed, there are a few of those sources that I think are credible when it comes to Man United. Of course, if my sources within the club are not really giving me certain information, the Athletic are so close to the club, obviously, and they were talking about the roles, the division of labor, the decentralization at Man United, and the roles of everyone. And of course, speaking about Rene Hake and what his role is at Manchester United. Rene Hake is the guy uh, we brought in as one of the assistants of Eric Ten Hag. Of course, he came in with I think he came just was it just after Ruud van Nistelrooy or around the same time? They came almost in situ. But here's the thing: they were saying that when it comes to the division of labor, uh, this guy is the one who leads, on pitch drills. That's Rene Hake. He leads the on pitch drills. Now, meaning that's an important part because on pitch drills means how players get to execute the methods that the manager wants to execute. He's also the one responsible for the weekly schedule of the team. When do they get a rest day? When do they train at what time? The day-to-day running, how do they run? Back then when we were playing football, we used to run, and I hated it, fam. I hated it. I don't know that teams still do it, go around the whole pitch like 25 times, 25 laps. Ah, fam, that was torture. That's the traditional way of doing it. Then he's also responsible for the training, day-to-day training, and the meetings, the team meetings they have. The long meetings probably are no more because back then I remember at the start of the year when on the eve of the game against Tottenham, I was at Carrington, camped at Carrington for a long time, and of course players went in and waited for them to return. It was winter, cold as they come, and it was freezing cold, but we're thinking these players should be going home to rest and be ready for the game the next day. But guys went in like a training started at around midday. They trained and after went into a long meeting. They left when it was dark. They left around 6 p.m. But they had a match the following day. And I'm thinking, wow, these long meetings, by the time I remembered Wayne Rooney complaining about it with Ruud van Nistelrooy, one of his weaknesses he had, that players would train, they want to go home and rest and prepare. but he's keeping them around into long meetings. Footballers don't really, love such things. But anyway, so this is the guy responsible for that, the meeting times and durations, and ensuring that they keep within that. And of course, he works with the medics as well and other departments. I'm hoping he solves for us the big problem when it comes to departments. Very important. Now, uh, even Van Nistelrooy, according again to credible sources from the club, even Van Nistelrooy, for the training sessions, Van Nistelrooy has also designed his own drills, especially for possession and core passing skills. Van Nistelrooy has designed his own. They are specific, so you can see how the team is working, because people might think these people do nothing and what. Eric Ten Hag is the boss. He's the guy on top, the manager who talks to these guys and calls the final shots. But these are the guys day to day. The way Sir Alex Ferguson had Rennie Mulinstein back then, he had Carlos Quiroz, he had who else? He had, of course, Steve McLaren at some point. These guys are the ones who don't work on the training grounds. That's why when performances come, we want to give them their credit. You give them their credit because day to day they're the ones toiling with the players a lot more. Sir Alex Ferguson will stay in his office overlooking the training facility at Carrington and just in the big mirror, transparent window, he would just look through and scare players on the pitch while they are running around with the assistants. So that's how it works. So this decentralization, I think, is something good. You'll have to see it, though it's a bit to some people it's a bit old school, because people seem to prefer managers who are hands-on, the way you see Pep nearly conducting everything for himself. But anyhow, that's a bit like, but these are the things I was trying to tell you, the changes that are the big hints we're talking about that show that INEOS are heading us in the right direction. Just of course, to wrap it up, Ajax have been discussing the possibility of taking back Antony, probably on loan in Jan, because this is likely to happen. Antony could be sent out on loan, but the thing is, Ajax seem to be unsure about Antony's mentality. That could be the limiting factor. They seem to be unsure about his mentality, despite, of course, managing uh, to corner us. Okay, for lack of a better word, to corner us of 86 million quid. They are saying we are not sure about his mentality. But the thing is, Ineos will be looking to ship out Antony first on loan and eventually on a permanent for about reportedly 40 million quid. That's what they could be willing to take for him to live and be priced out of his misery of warming the bench for so long. This can't be easy, fam. It can't. Anyhow, that's it for now. My name is Webb. This is the United of Sport. I will leave it at that. Remember, Manchester United is going to be returning to action. That's in just uh, hours, I should say, in just hours from now, on the 24th, 2 days from now, I will be back to action, taking on Fenerbahce. That will be a very important game in terms of seeing how consistent we can be, especially if you're playing the top dogs. Web, United Hotspot, like, share, subscribe, fam. Let me catch you later.